Alright guys, welcome back to my return to Jurassic Park Comics Series. This is episode 5 of 9, and with all of that out of the way, I think it's best to just begin. We begin our story during the events of the first Jurassic Park. Alan, Grant, and Hammond's other visitors have just landed on the island, and two researchers by the names of Abby and Derek continue to work within the laboratory of this modern wonder. After flirting a bit with the male scientist, Abby is able to get the man outside for a small walk, where the two encounter a small dinosaur that happily licks Derek's face like a dog out in the open. Even though the animal seems docile, Derek wonders what species it is, as well as why it's out of containment. The two then stumble upon a fellow scientist named Gustavus, who's presently loading several crates into his gas jeep. Derek wants to leave this guy alone due to his often run-ins with other members of staff resulting in the workers being fired, but Abby presses her date to ask him a few questions about what exactly the man is up to. Gustavus is angered by Derek's prying into his personal matters, however, and lets him know that he'll be out of a job by the end of the day if Gustavus gets his way. After seeing his superior pulling away, a surprised Derek sees that Abby has grabbed one of the cases that was in the man's jeep and decides to see what's inside. Both Abby and Derek are shocked to see that Gus has hidden dinosaur eggs inside of these cases, and the two ponder on this scientist's usual declaration of infertile eggs being disposed of by himself personally. It would seem that Gustavus has other uses for Jurassic Park's resources. After getting in a jeep themselves and rushing to their dorms in an effort to hide what they've found, the two are run off the road by Gustavus. After flying through the windshield and careening into a ditch, Gus reaches down to the subdued Derek to grab hold of his suitcase and cut the scientist across the face with a large knife, before getting back to his jeep and speeding off to his own lodgings. The next day, Abby wakes Derek up on his day off, telling him that they both have a duty to find out what the rogue scientist is up to, and after a little convincing, the two are able to follow the doctor's trail into an area with a small compound that looks different from all of the other buildings. After walking inside, the two begin to take in the sight of a wide variety of small dinosaurs in cages that look far different to any of the creatures out on display in the open park. It would seem that Gustavus has been growing his own dinosaurs without Hammond's supervision, which prompts Derek to grab hold of a radio and let his other colleagues hear about it, before Derek is shot by the now returned geneticist. Holding them at gunpoint, Gustavus tells both of his peers that they will die after being witness to his glorious work. He has created new, unique, and incredible animals that the world has never seen, such as the Dinosaurs with a high intelligence and dexterity, as well as the Avimimus with plumage, and his own watchdog-sized trike, along with tameable pterodactyloids. His most precious creation, it would seem, however, is Gideon, a small hypsilophodon-like creature similar to a Dinosaur. His work has been centered on creating a superior race, one that he can play God as that will position him as overseer of a new genetic revolution. Once the two of them are disposed of, that is. But Abby and Derek tell the man that he would never get away with such an act, as their bodies would surely be found and an investigation carried out. But Gus has thought ahead of time for such a result, and says that the carnivores will be getting a little variety in their diets today. If you were surprised by the story I just went over today, then don't worry, you're not alone. I was kind of shocked to read such an odd tale after reading through the green flame arc of this run. Unfortunately, it turns out that the Return to Jurassic Park story that we previously were going over has actually completed. I guess after the news came out that The Lost World was getting made, they pulled the plug on the Return series and instead decided to do something completely different so that they wouldn't step on Spielberg's toes. I'm also under the impression that they did this to specifically be able to adapt The Lost World into comic book form, which ultimately they did as well. Now I know that this new direction is going to be something controversial to a few of you, but hey, I'm just the messenger. Had it been my say-so, I think all of you know that I would have really supported the direction that the story was going in, and would really have loved to see them dedicate themselves to resolving characters like Edgar Prather, and actually letting the readers know what the hell the green flame was, but it looks like that information will never be known. I'm really upset to even see the comic take this turn, because honestly, it's a really big middle finger to those that were invested. But hey, who knows? Maybe this new direction will have its own unique story that we'll all look back on fondly. But it probably doesn't. To put it lightly, I really don't like this issue. It's one of the weakest ones I've covered so far out of all of the comics, and as of now, I really don't care what happens. It's all a bunch of hybridized mad scientist Saturday morning cartoon stuff, and it really feels like the name Jurassic Park is just being slapped on for brand recognition, but whatever. They could prove me wrong and deliver something awesome. Now again, I want to apologize for being the bearer of bad news, but hope you all enjoyed today's content in some regard. I hope to see you all in the next video, guys, and as always, take it easy.